All right, what's up, y'all? I wanted to make this video about mindfulness. So mindfulness is something that's brought me a lot of joy in life, a lot of peace, a lot of serenity. And I find that my most vibrant moments in life are when I'm actually putting the mindfulness that I've developed into practice. And in this series, I'm going to be talking about some of the things that I've experienced in my life that have helped me develop mindfulness. And my hope is that it inspires you to share with me, because I'm trying to learn from y'all. Let me start with a definition of mindfulness in this video. I want to talk about what mindfulness is, and then in my opinion, what it is not. Let me start with what it is not. I think a lot of times people associate mindfulness as a clearing of the mind. In my opinion, I definitely feel as though that's a result of mindfulness, but that's not true mindfulness. That's not the actual practice of mindfulness. When I'm speaking about mindfulness, I'm talking about a awareness, okay? A 360-degree wide awareness of what is, without resistance, without any struggle. And the what is that you're being aware of is four things, it's four levels. The first level is the phenomenon around you. As you become mindful of this phenomenon, you start to notice that every object in your environment has this field that projects a vibration. So you start to notice the air, the different sound, the cars passing, the stream, the water, the smells. You know, you may be walking down the street and say, damn, something smells good as hell. You smell it before you see it. So when you gain that level of mindfulness, you start to be able to almost visualize and feel the field around objects, people, sounds, etc. The next level is the level of the body. So you start to become aware of the bodily sensations, like have some type of itch right here at the moment. There's a breeze blowing on me, so it's kind of cool right now. I've been talking for some time, so my throat's a little sore. And you know, the most common thing that we're aware of in meditation is the breath, the object of the breath. But there's many other functions in the body that are going on. And when you obtain this level of mindfulness, then when you get really good at that, you're able to even feel the sensation of certain hormones being released. Like, for example, I'm able to tell the difference between cortisol as a stress hormone and adrenaline as a stress hormone, where adrenaline is more a fire that's in the arms and in the chest. Cortisol is in the chest, it sits heavy, but it's a little bit lower. It's almost putting a weight on the digestive system to say, look, we don't got time for all this digestion and all that, because stuff is real. We gotta make stuff happen. So that's the level of the body. The next level is the emotions. So this is the emotional intelligence. We all know fear, happiness, anger, sadness, but how often do these emotions arise and they kind of creep up? You don't even realize that you're feeling it at that present moment. What I like about Buddhism is it has this concept of the 5 hindrances, and I always visualize it as a grid where there's an axis. Up here you have aversion, here you have desire, on the other side you have restlessness, and then you have sloth, and in the middle sits doubt. So it's kind of like a grid for you to be able to map out these different emotions, and as you observe them, you start to see the relationship between these emotions. Now, the next level is the level of the mind. When you're aware of the mind, you have this awareness of the mind, you start to be able to observe individual thoughts, and you start to notice that thoughts are kind of like their own beings in themselves, where they're born, they arise, and then they die. And as you're observing this, you start to see that every thought is a different type of mental faculty. I think the word for it is chetasika. Each chitta has a specific purpose. You know, for example, you may be thinking, oh, well, I just judged. Wow, that was a judgment. Or my mind is trying to hold on to to this thought. And so it's kind of like driving a car for the first time, where you grab the steering wheel and you're like, oh, this is how the steering wheel works. This is what that does. This is the accelerator. That's interesting. Oh, that's how that works. This is the brake. You know, let me adjust the mirror here. And it's really interesting to observe these thoughts. And I know that I said that there's 4 levels, but there's something that pervades all 4 of these levels, which I think is pretty interesting, which is the creator or the universe. And basically, you start to see that as above, so below, that what's in the phenomenon or the objects in your environment cause certain thoughts to arise, and there's a correlation between the body sensations, the emotions, and the thoughts. And it's just so awesome to see that there's this higher power that pervades everything. And that's where you really start to see a lot of the joy and the awe in mindfulness. And you're able to tap into this universal language, this universal power that supports us all. So that's my thoughts on mindfulness. Please check out the next video in this series, where I'm actually going to be talking about different things I've experienced that have helped me develop mindfulness. So yeah, check it out. In closing, your mass is unmeasured, your power is unparalleled. Wishing you life, health, and prosperity. As you are, I am.